ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नित्यानंद नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेमानंदप्रदायिने कलौ कल्मषनाशाय जानवापतये नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. And from last 3 days, we are discussing from verse number 37. अतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीं तस्माद् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चया. So whether you die in the battlefield or you become victorious, in both the cases, you gain. You do not lose anything. Uh, so when one follows the path of dharma, strictly following the religious principles, then he is in win-win situation. Now next Krishna speaks in this Bhagavad Gita and this next verse 38. Sukha dukkha same kritva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam avapsyasi. So, do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. So, Arjuna's main concern in the previous chapter, if you heard it very attentively, so you know that Arjuna, the second reason Arjuna gave for not fighting was he thought that there I'll incur sin. पापम एवाश्रये तस्मान हत्वा आततायिनः. By killing these atatayina aggressors, we will incur sin because they are our relatives. That's why we'll incur the sin. But Krishna is telling, no, na evam papam avapsyasi. If you fight as a matter of duty, without being affected by the duality which you will be getting as a result of this fighting, then you will not incur sin. Shri Krishna is telling this. So you don't consider happiness, distress, or labh, alabh means profit and loss, jai, ajay, victory and defeat. And tato yudhaya, yudhaya means for the sake of fighting. You just fight. Na evam papam vapsasi. Then you will not get the sinful reaction. Because the sin, we get the sin by performing any activity. Because if we maintain the attachment for result, and then if we perform the activity, then we get the sinful reaction. So this is the principle. When one performs any activity maintaining material attachment, then he is bound in this material existence again. It may be sinful or pious, doesn't matter. Both are actually this two same thing. Same thing. So, but if one becomes freed from the material attachment, desire for sense gratification, and just as a matter of duty, if somebody performs any material activity, then there is no question of getting the reaction. No question of getting the reaction means then he will not be affected by performing those actions. The reaction when one performs some kind of activity. So, as a result, we get the happiness or distress, happiness or distress, and as a result, we get the propensities to perform, tendencies to perform further uh, material activities. So this is the, and as a result, we these impressions are created. When one performs, suppose somebody performs pious activity or sinful activity. So when it is performed, then those impressions or samskaras are created within the mind, and those impressions then lead to form certain kind of tendencies, also known as desires, material desires, to perform some pious or impious activity, and then those pious or impious activities are performed, and then again this chain continues. Again, some impressions are generated, then some, those impressions then they fructify or results into these various kinds of tendencies to perform either sinful activity or pious activity, and then those tendencies are then results they result into performing, actually performing those pious or sinful activity. So this is how this cycle of karma works. So if somebody gives up the attachment for the result, then all this series of reactions doesn't take does not become manifest. These impressions are not generated, and these tendencies are not generated because he has done without getting affected, without attachment. Uh, so he is freed from those reactions. And this is what Krishna is telling, suggesting Arjuna, that you perform in this attitude, then you will not get the uh, pap, sinful reaction. So Lord Krishna now directly says that Arjuna should fight for the sake of fighting because he desires the battle. There is no consideration of happiness or distress, profit or loss, victory or defeat in the activities of Krishna consciousness. That everything should be performed for the sake of Krishna is transcendental consciousness. So there is no reaction to material activities. He who acts for his own sense gratification, either in goodness or in passion, is subject to the reaction good or bad. But he who has completely surrendered himself uh, in the activities of Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone, nor is he a debtor to anyone, as one is in the ordinary course of activities. So, if somebody becomes freed from the this desire for gaining happiness or distress, profit or loss, victory and defeat, and of course, which is only possible for a Krishna conscious person, because only a Krishna conscious person can act for the satisfaction of Krishna, knowing very well that okay, if I perform this prescribed duty in Krishna consciousness, then Krishna is going to get satisfied. So if the Supreme Lord is satisfied, so for me it doesn't matter whether it gives me happiness or distress or any kind of material profit or loss or victory or defeat, doesn't matter. This material victory and defeat, profit or loss, happiness or distress has no value for a Krishna conscious person, because his only interest is his only interest lies in the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So if the Supreme Lord Krishna is satisfied with some activity, after performing which a Krishna conscious person may get some kind of distress, or may get some kind of loss, or may get some kind of defeat also. So for a truly Krishna conscious person, the loss, defeat, uh, or dishonor or distress which he gets by performing certain kind of Krishna conscious activity, which may be which may be pleasing to Krishna, satisfying to Krishna, then such kind of distress and defeat or dishonor or this loss actually becomes the greatest kind of happiness greatest kind of profit and greatest kind of honor for a truly Krishna conscious person. That's why it does not matter for a Krishna conscious person, a devotee, that personally he is getting defeated or insulted or getting some loss. If by performing those activities, the Supreme Lord Krishna, Krishna's service is executed and the Supreme Lord Krishna is becoming satisfied or happy. Uh, just like uh, the activity of book distribution. I was telling this in the beginning of the class. So, uh, uh, two persons may go for book distribution, Gita distribution activity. A person who is not Krishna conscious and a person who is Krishna conscious. So, a person who is not Krishna conscious, then he is surely going to get uh, dissatisfied or surely going to get frustrated. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita, it's not going to happen that you will be selling Bhagavad Gita like vegetables or some kachori samosa. If you put a thela on the street with kachori and samosa, then you may get good selling. But if you put a thela with Bhagavad Gita, then you are not going to get good selling. Uh, Out of 100, one may come and show some interest. Okay, let me see what is this Bhagavad Gita. Oh, that's good. Good to read. Okay, I'll purchase it next time. So out of many hundreds, someone may take one Bhagavad Gita. So it's a great, uh, apparently, materially, it's a great defeat and an act of dishonor. Uh, because I'll tell you a personal example. When first time in 2012 itself, I was in first year BTech. So I was given few Bhagavad Gitas in my hand and I went out on the street and trying to distribute Bhagavad Gita, meeting people. So many kinds of responses came. Somebody said, कितना पैसा मिलता है इसमें कमीशन कितना मिलता है somebody said, I know all you do all nonsense thing, uh, and you are selling Gita here, cheating people. So I said, in this way, they started some. So I got irritated, frustrated, and I carried my ID card. To some of them I showed my. Do you know who I am? I am an engineering student of the top college of the state, Rajasthan state, MNIT Jaipur, NIT Jaipur. NIT Jaipur is the top college of entire Rajasthan state. So then some of them they became like shocked. Huh? Then why are you selling like this? Why are you doing this? So that, but the feeling was there. The feeling of hurt was there. That is, they don't know who am I. I qualified. I cleared IIT also. I got such a top rank, and they do not know. They think that I am just an ordinary seller earning some 50, 60 rupees per Gita. So in this way, these feelings were there in the beginning because at that time we were not so Krishna conscious. And then if some or other, but gradually following the principles, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and distribute and doing services, after some time it became a uh, nice attitude was developed later on that we may be very big person, but doesn't matter. Still, we are very fortunate that Krishna has kindly chosen us to take his Bhagavad Gita out and distribute to others. So this is a great opportunity. Even if I'm unable to distribute any Bhagavad Gita, and even if somebody comes and slaps on my face, still that is a great honor for me to get slapped by anybody in this material world. Third, the worst class of people also, for the sake of pleasing Krishna. So that attitude developed later on. I got the slap for the sake of pleasing my Lord and Master, Srila Prabhupada and the Supreme Lord. And one time it so happened also, I was in, when I was in Sankirtan bus party. So we went somewhere in Maharashtra, I think Aurangabad. So there in one of the, this court, government officer, court, yes. So in one of the court, Just I went inside. I was alone. Other devotees were distributing somewhere else. So I went inside and I started distributing. So one policeman came and he told, "You cannot distribute Bhagavad Gita here." So I said, "Okay, no problem. I will not move. I'll stand in this just one corner, and whoever will come, I will show to them. And if they take, that's all right." So that policeman, he allowed me. "Okay, you cannot go inside. You just stand there. Whoever is coming, you just show." So that's all right. Then another policeman, he came, and then he became very angry, and then he slapped uh, also. But the slap which I got from that policeman, that gave me great bliss inside. It made me so happy. But in the beginning days, if I would have gotten any slap, then I would have become very angry and frustrated also. I would have left distribution. But when I got this slap, instead of leaving the distribution service, I just moved ahead and continued to meet other people. No problem. I didn't even argue with that policeman. Why? Because the slap, immediately I remembered that I got this slap for the sake of pleasing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be very pleased. He must be shedding tears. Practically, I don't know. I'm not such an elevated devotee that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will shed tear for me. But at that particular moment, that feeling came. And because of those bhav of feeling, practically tears came on my eyes. Not because the person slapped me and I got insulted in the public, but because I felt that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, they must be so pleased that seeing that this insignificant boy, he is trying very hard to distribute this book just for their pleasure. So thinking like this, they must be crying uh, and they must offer their blessings. So remembering like this, I also started crying. But other people, they thought that I was crying because the policeman gave me a slap. So they came, and some of them, I think two person, then they took Bhagavad Gita also. I was very happy. Oh wow, very nice. If by shedding tears, these two people, they took Bhagavad Gita, so let me shed more tears. But then that bhav was gone away. So that was such a nice thing. So this cannot be explained. This can only be experienced. That's why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, uh, when the kind of distress and insults and unhappiness and disturbances and frustration which I get for the service of the Supreme Lord Krishna is actually the greatest of my happiness. The distress or miseries which I uh, get in serving Supreme Lord Krishna is my only pleasure, is my greatest happiness. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur says like this, and this is a fact. That's why a devotee, he is always willing to sacrifice and he is always willing to serve Krishna. Never mind whatever happens. Well, that should be the attitude of a devotee. So in that consciousness, if devotee is situated, then Sukha Dukkha Samekritva. He remains sama, equal in all Sukha and Dukkha. Doesn't matter for him whether he is getting honor or dishonor, or so-called material happiness and distress, comfort or discomfort, or defeat or failure, defeat or success, profit or loss. It doesn't matter for him. Then so he becomes victorious. Ultimately, he becomes victorious because Krishna is there. Krishna is accepting his service. The only thing is one should be sincere at heart. That's all. And the sincerity means I am doing this service not to get anything from and not to get anything in return from the Lord, but I'm doing this service just to express my love and devotion for my Lord because the Supreme Lord is so affectionate to me. Although I am not at all qualified, He is still keeping me very close to His lotus feet. He is still giving me the opportunity to serve Him. He is still giving me the opportunity to chant His holy name. So why should I not serve Him with full devotion and giving my complete heart? I must also give something to Him. So I do not want anything in return. I'm already in debtor to Srila Prabhupada and the Supreme Lord. So what else I want? No. In order to repay my debt, uh, I must serve, continue to serve and take the suffering eternally. Then also I cannot repay my debt. The thing which I have gotten from my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, there can never be anything I can do to return to them, because they have given me such a wonderful opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord. So that consciousness should be there. If that consciousness is there, then he is always very nicely, jubilantly, blissfully engaged without being affected by Maya. And then there is no question of getting any sinful reaction. And if one can lead in this consciousness, if one can lead his life in this consciousness, surely he is going to get promoted to the spiritual world as soon as he leaves this material body. So, so he who has completely surrendered himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone. And such a person is not obligated to anyone. And he is not a debtor to anyone in this material world. And that is confirmed in the Bhagavatam. देवार्षि भूताप्त निनाम पितृणाम न किंकरो नायम ऋणी च राजन सर्वात्मनाय शरणं शरण्यं गतो मुकुंदम परिरित्य कर्तुम. Anyone who has completely surrendered unto Krishna Mukunda, giving up all other duties, is no longer a debtor, nor is he obliged to anyone, nor to the demigods, nor the sages, nor the people in general, nor kinsmen, nor humanity, nor forefathers. He is not a debtor to anyone. Ah, that's why he is not obliged to perform any material duties. He simply performs a pure form of Krishna conscious activities, and which satisfies the Supreme Lord Krishna completely. So that is the indirect hint given by Krishna to Arjuna in this verse, and the matter will be more clearly explained in the following verses. Krishna has given this hint to Arjuna, and from next two verses, it will be explained more in more detail. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. We have only 2 minutes. We can take few questions. Yes, 1 minute. Yes, Ankita Mataji.
प्रभु हरे कृष्णा दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु एक
Hare
क्वेश्चन
Krishna.
था जो आपने डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन से रिलेटेड बताया इंसिडेंस कि गॉड का गिफ्ट है गीता, ग्रेट गीता मैं तो बोलूंगी, जिसको हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं, करना चाह रहे हैं। अगर उसको कोई रिजेक्ट करता है डायरेक्टली रूडली, तो उस रिजेक्शन को हैंडल नहीं कर पाते हैं, कैसे करें वो चीज हैंडल?
वही तो बताया पूरे क्लास में.
नहीं, वो
Simply
आपने बताया
become
कि मतलब उनको
Krishna
खुश
conscious.
करना है उनके लिए। जी।
Yes, our concern is the Supreme Lord should be pleased and satisfied. So if we are putting our endeavor, then He is pleased. So what else is required?
कैसे रिएक्ट करना चाहिए उस टाइम अगर कोई डायरेक्टली
No,
मना कर रहा है, हमें नहीं चाहिए, हमारे पास है, इस तरह से कुछ भी
we can humbly
दूसरे
request
ऑथर
them.
की?
We can request them. Okay, if you have Bhagavad Gita, then start reading, and you can take for somebody else a gift. We are also trying our best so that the teachings of Bhagavad Gita can be distributed to other people. So you help us if you have Bhagavad Gita, then take Bhagavatam, then Krishna book.
वो
This is
अदर
another
ऑथर्स
point.
की वो रिकमेंड करते हैं, अदर
ये एक
ऑथर्स
अलग
की
क्वेश्चन है,
इन।
मतलब ये एक्चुअली
ओके,
बुक
ठीक है,
डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करते
ठीक है।
टाइम क्या होता है, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट प्रिंसिपल्स. बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का जस्ट मैं एग्जांपल दिया, so just to share, even in situation of defeats, the person, a devotee, can be perfectly in blissful situation if he has proper consciousness. एग्जांपल दिया.
एंड वो इंसल्ट करना किसी भक्त की कैन लीड टू अ वेरी, मतलब कोई बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम आ
वो
सकता
तो
है ना ऐसे लाइफ।
नहीं नहीं, वो अलग क्वेश्चन है, उसमें हम नहीं जाएंगे. वो दे आर इनोसेंट, मीन्स इग्नोरेंट पीपल, दे डोंट गेट ऑफेंस फॉर दिस, they get some sinful reaction. Okay.
थैंक यू।
Yes. Any other question? Yes, Shama Mataji, you have some question?
नहीं, फॉलोअप से रिलेटेड था वो। माता जी का